Today is Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The Biden administration announces a plan to, that's right, relieve supply chain bottlenecks ahead of the U.S. Christmas shopping season. Folks, this is a huge issue. It is stopping furniture, golf clubs, millions of supplies all across America from getting into the country. We'll be joined by retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore to discuss the proposed plan and the basic mistakes that led to this monumental billion-dollar issue. An Indianapolis police officer is facing charges for stomping on a handcuffed man's head. We'll show you the body cam footage. It's a tweet mystery. Congresswoman Maxine Waters claims her Twitter account was hacked, and she knows who the culprit is. Twitter says otherwise. Shereen Mitchell is here to explain if a hack could happen without leaving a trace. Oh, Brett Favre. Donald Trump lover Brett Favre is one of many who owes the state of Mississippi money for misspent welfare funds, nearly $1 million. Brett, why won't you give that money back? And he believes legalizing marijuana will end the justification for the continued harassment, arrest, incarceration, and death of people of color in police custody. We'll be joined by the executive director of the Marijuana Policy Project right on this show. Plus, giving, donating, and fundraising just became a lot easy. In our Black Tech Talk segment, we'll tell you about the GiveBlack app. It is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
So have you been trying to buy something and they told you it's gonna be about 12 weeks? This has been happening to people all across the country. Why? Because of the global supply chain. COVID completely disrupted the global supply chain. You had individuals who could not go into factories to reduce capacity. You might have tried to call some folks and they said, sorry, nobody's in here. Well, guess what? That was almost all of 2020. Folks begin to slowly ramp up in 2021, but they have not been able to catch up. Look, I got some new golf clubs, and when I ordered them, they said they'll be here in 12 weeks. Normally, it was 2 weeks, max, these custom golf clubs. Well, President Joe Biden realizes it is a problem, realizes many companies are running out of products, and guess what? If they can't move products for the Christmas shopping season, it's going to take a huge hit to the U.S. economy. He says help is on the way.
Some good news. They're going to help speed up the delivery of goods all across America. After weeks of negotiation and working with my team and with the major union retailers and freight movers, the Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This follows the Port of Long Beach's commitment to 24/7 that it announced just weeks ago. 24/7 system, what most of the leading countries in the world already operate on now, except us, until now. This is the first key step toward moving our entire freight, transportation, and logistical supply chain nationwide to a 24/7 system.
Now, President Biden says the two California ports account for more than 40% of all goods that enter the United States. Supply chain, folks, is a system of organizations, people, activities, information, and resources involved in supplying a product or service to a consumer in commerce. Joining us right now is retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore. Not too sure about this plan. He joins us now from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right, Lieutenant General Honore. So, what people don't understand, and those of you you serve in the military do understand, you can send troops somewhere, but you don't make a decision to send troops anywhere around the world unless you know how to get supplies to them. Air, water, ground. And even if you get it, fly it over there, even if you put it on a ship, how are you gonna transport it once it gets off that ship, off that plane, in order to reach those particular troops? COVID exposed this problem, and for almost a year, we got ships literally sitting off the coast just with goods on it, and folks are trying to figure out how in the hell to get their stuff off of those ships, and some are paying a higher premium to be able to get those products. How major of a problem is this?
It could end up being a national security issue, which it is, because if this affects our economy, it affects our way of life. While there are leisure stuff on those ships, there are many essential things that we need to sustain our manufacturing. And our manufacturing sustain our economy. Our economy is what make our democracy work. Without our economy working, we would be like any other developing country. The economy has to be secured, and the way we secure that is through trade and logistics. It will have national implication, not only for Christmas, but to keep our manufacturing system open. Roland, this started over a decade ago with U.S. industries focused on cheaper, better, quicker. Then they went into and developed just-in-time delivery. That was a pipe dream, because every time we got a hurricane or a storm, just-in-time delivery without having stocks on hand to run manufacturing, they disrupt manufacturing and drive the price up. This is the problem that is creating us driving the price of goods up. Extra things that they do put together in America because they don't have the supplies, Roland. That was a pipe dream. And then they went into calling this supply chain. I never was comfortable with the concept. I believe in logistics, as you described it earlier, which requires leaders to anticipate. The problem is our transportation system is unregulated. It is not regulated from the perspective of who runs the port. We got much of our port is operated by foreign countries. All the containers are regulated by the countries that own them, and the majority of them are foreign owned. Many in Korea, Taiwan, as well as Singapore and China own most of those containers. And the trucking industry is very competitive because they have trouble treating drivers because they want it cheaper, better, quicker. They want the drivers to get there quicker, they want to pay them less, and they want to give them less benefits. They are essential workers. And the way we've structured the port systems, it causes us to have to move more stuff by truck than by train. This has to be fixed, and the president is headed in the right direction. And I think he needs to watch this for a few weeks. And if he needs to, he can send a couple thousand Army drivers there that can drive everything at that port. I lived on the port of Dammam in Saudi Arabia for 3 months, unloading ship with soldiers from the 7th Transportation Brigade. They can handle everything that's at that port, to include the containers, Roland.
And see, and that's the thing right there when we talk about how is this impacting the rest of the country. Well, if you don't have the available goods, you go into a store, why in the hell am I employing people? Because ain't nothing to sell. And so this is having huge economic ramifications. I've already seen where companies are freaking out saying, if this doesn't get solved right now, you can forget Christmas sales. A number of retailers, their entire year is predicated on Christmas sales.
Absolutely. It comes back to the economy. We must protect the economy, just like we got to protect our democracy. It's right up there, and it's reliable on the transportation system to get goods from the port to the shelves. And over time, we've started taking that and left it in the hands of an unregulated industry, Roland. It's not regulated. You see the president calling these people in and asking them for cooperation. When we went through deregulation going all the way back to the Reagan era, we deregulated the transportation system to let the economy run it. Well, what we end up with, most of the stuff at our port is owned by foreign companies, and they don't want to pay the overtime. The other thing we got out of synchronization with, we went to 5 days a week port operation, daylight only. Whereas the people are shipping to us, they work 24/7 loading ships, and they come to ports that only operate 5 days a week because the companies don't want to pay the overtime and they don't want to hire more people. I was talking to a young man in the last few days, took him 2 years to get a job at a port. Veteran from the Army, all the clearances required. It is like a nepotism system to get a good job at the port, which many of our people raised their families on in the port of New Orleans until they went to containers. This is ridiculous. This is a national security issue, and we got to stop acting like victims. We got to use the power of this nation to solve this problem, Roland.
So this plan for the president, do you agree with it? Do you think it will work? If not, what should be done?
Well, I remind you, the fine print on that is a 90-day agreement. So it gives Congress time to get all these bills that they got backed up and then figure out what we're going to do to get control of this industry. Because the big boys like Apple and Amazon and Walmart and Target, they're moving the high-end system. They've Uberized the shipping industry and get the small ships that do break bulk that can offload containers at selected ports, where they move the stuff that costs over $1,000 each and have their own shipping line set up using smaller ships. In the meantime, the stuff that the middle class need, like television and refrigerators and stove, are going to dry up because we've given all those industries up to be stuff made overseas because the companies can do them cheaper and give a higher margin on the stockholders. This is ridiculous. We got to reset America, create more jobs here. But in the meantime, the president's headed in the right direction. But this is not a permanent fix. We've got to make sure that the unions are not shutting people out from getting jobs. They encourage more people to get jobs. And they need a 24/7 workforce at the port. In the meantime, the president can speed this up by providing drivers to help the transportation industry, just like we provided doctors, nurses, and hospital staff to help the doctors. Nobody complained about that, and those soldiers are standing by if they're needed.
All right. Retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much, sir.
Have a good day.
All right, I want to bring in my panel, Robert Portillo, attorney and executive director, the Rainbow Push Coalition Peachtree Street Project, Monique Presley, legal analyst, crisis manager, Demario Solomon Simmons, civil rights attorney, founder, Justice for Greenwood. All right, folks, this is not one of those issues that people go, okay, this really don't affect me, but actually it does. Because if you have a job and your job is based upon goods and they can't get the goods, you're not going to have a job. And so I just find it interesting that we've been at this point and to listen to General Honore describe this crazy system that is pretty much a free-for-all. And it's, hey, who can serve the highest bidder? And he mentioned regulation, and you know people in this country, they can't stand the word regulation, but there are places where regulation absolutely matters, Robert.
Oh, well, if you look at a company like Maersk out of the Netherlands, they've been in the shipping game for, a couple hundred years now, and they have it very regimented and very regulated. And this problem has been building for decades at this point in time. America's been talking about investing in its ports since George W. Bush was running against Al Gore in 2000, and we've never made those investments. And if you think this doesn't affect you, well, if you look at that sticker shock you're getting in the grocery store, that's because of supply chain issues. If you're looking at that sticker shock you're getting at the gas station, transportation. Those are supply chain issues. And what I think President Biden should have done is tied this to the overall infrastructure bill. The ports and bridges they're transporting these goods, their expansion is what's going to be paid for by that infrastructure bill. Getting people back to work. We have a truck driver shortage in the country. We have a shipping container shortage. There are shipping containers sitting in the port of LA that have not made their way back to China to pick up goods, which is increasing the overall cost of good transportation across those Pacific routes right now. So there's a litany of issues, and I think the president can use this particular emergency as a reason to push through the infrastructure and the human infrastructure bill, because it's crucial to Americans. And one thing Americans may not pay attention to everything going on in Congress, but they will pay attention to higher prices at the gas station and at the grocery store. So this might be a moment where he can take some presidential leadership over the issue.
It is one that is required for leadership, Monique. And again, it's just one of those things that I think the average person doesn't think about until they got to.
Until it matters. And so here we have the GOP that's going to try to do its same old party line where everything is deregulate, deregulate, deregulate. You know, it's strong state government, weak centralized federal government. And this is one of those issues where that simply does not work. And we're about to find out, I mean, in the most severe manner possible, why it does not work. And so for people, I agree with everything that Robert said. For people who it doesn't matter to them, it's about to matter, because your pocketbook matters, whether you can have things shipped at all for Christmas. I mean, there are people saying plan on skipping it and having like a February Christmas, because some things are just not going to make it, like en masse, in bulk. So this, I do agree, is a place where maybe the president can take advantage of a situation where, one, he's got to be a president and do the presidential thing, which he will, but then also use it as leverage to get some other things passed, because the GOP is going to be hard pressed to tell people, as prices are skyrocketing that affect their bottom line, oh, no, 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 we don't need this regulated. That's just simply not going to work.
DeMario, you're on mute. I know it's rough for you Omegas, but
Hey, I agree with my panelists that this is just really an opportunity for President Biden to really show that what infrastructure needs are necessary. And I think it also really shows us the negative of deregulation, but couple that with privatization. They want to continue to put things in the hands of individuals or private individuals to make more and more money. It really shows you, as Monique says, some things should not be deregulated. How can our ports be in the hands of private entities and stop us from getting the type of items that we need each and every day? As the general stated, yeah, there are things like golf clubs or order some office supplies, but there are also medicines and other essential items that are sitting out in the ocean because we are allowing private businesses to prioritize profits over what's necessary for us as a country. It's ridiculous.
And Roland, just lastly, I think also this may be a national security issue, as the general mentioned, in a different way, because one of the problems is we still only inspect about 5% of the containers that come through our ports. This is also how human trafficking happens, where individuals are put in shipping containers in Southeast Asia and then trafficked to the United States. This is also how terrorism happens, where if you look at what happened in Lebanon a couple years ago, where you had a port which just exploded, it would not be difficult for the enemies of the United States to pack a couple shipping containers with explosives and to completely destroy a U.S. port. And imagine how you could cripple the entire West Coast infrastructure if you were able to cripple the port of Los Angeles, or if you were able to do that in Newark, New Jersey, or Baltimore, places such as that have large port facilities. So there's every reason to federalize and to have the federal government step in on a national security basis in order to stop this backlog, and also to in order to protect the national security interests of the nation. The Republicans always want to talk about the southern border, but our ports are completely unprotected. And that's, if you were a terrorist, that is where you would try to attack, because you can load up tons of equipment and execute an attack that would cripple the U.S. infrastructure for months on end.
All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. When we come back on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Congresswoman Maxine Waters says her Twitter account was hacked. Twitter says, no, it wasn't. What must you do to protect yourself? I'll break it down next on Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
Betty is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Bear Hug Betty. Settle in, kids. You'll be there a while. Ooh, where you going?
Peace World, what's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon.
Hey, I'm Cupid, the maker of the Cupid Shuffle and the Wham Dance.
What's going on? This is Tobias Trevelyan. And if you're ready, you are listening to and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, and so certainly want to shout out our partners, Nissan, Amazon, and Buick. Folks, so you want to be sure to click the description in the links below to support those who support Black-owned media. All right, California Congresswoman Maxine Waters says that her Twitter account was hacked. She posted this tweet here. I have been hacked and my Twitter account has been erased. I know who has done this. I will take care of this, M. Waters. Now, Twitter responded to the claim with the following. We can't comment on the tweet, but as is standard, we have open lines of communication with her office and have worked with them to ensure the account is secure. At this time, we've identified no signs of account compromise. Joining us now is social analyst and diversity strategist Shireen Mitchell, digital analyst also based here in D.C. Shireen, glad to have you here. So, what do you make of this? The Congresswoman saying there was hacked. Twitter said, we have no evidence. What's up?
Yeah, so there's two questions here. One is it her, congressional member account, which is the one she tweeted from, which says that she actually has access, or was it her personal account, which hasn't tweeted out since June 29th, I think. So I think the question is generally about which account. The second part is when people get hacked, when people use the word hacked, they usually mean that at some point they don't have access to the account, or somebody else has access and they can't get in. In many ways, that could be because, what happened in 2016, several Black women had their accounts hacked. People got into it. They spoofed their email accounts. They didn't have two-factor authorization, and they did remove their tweets and remove their followers. It has happened before. It doesn't look like a hack. So when Twitter says, "Oh, we don't see anything from our end," doesn't mean that there isn't something that didn't happen for the people who can't get access to their accounts. So at this point, we don't know which one specifically that she's talking about, but the responses I think that were happening were in reference to the fact that she was tweeting directly from her congressional member's account.
All right, so let's talk about this. Someone I know the other day actually had her account compromised. All of a sudden, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then she gets an alert says that her password had been changed on her email, on her social media account. Someone had hacked into it, and she got the alert immediately, made some changes to it. And this is something a lot of people just don't really think about when we talk about these accounts, realizing when you pick easy passwords or when you don't have a two-step authentication, you're asking for a lot of trouble.
You are. And you should have two-factor authorization for everything that you have in social media, especially things that you use a lot and you care about. And yes, this has happened before. Again, like I said, people have had their accounts spoof. Others have had someone, magically figure out your password because you may be using the same password across all your social media platforms, which you should not be doing. You can do something like LastPass or other third-party access points that allows you to have different passwords, but you should have a unique password for everything you have.
Okay,
now, here's the thing.
Hold on. So you said LastPass?
LastPass.
LastPass? LastPass. What's that?
Oh, it's a third party. There's others out there, but it's a third party tool that you can use that allows you to sort of store your passwords. You may not remember them, but LastPass does. And then when you go into these new accounts, you have a brand new, spanking new password for each one of those things that you can get access back into your accounts and not have to worry about having so many passwords that you can't keep up with. Because that's where we are in this age right now, is having too many accounts. And so we try to come up with a simple password that makes it easy for us to remember. But usually when people do that, it makes it easy for someone to break in.
And of course, you have, Apple has a particular feature now where it will alert you, hey, this password has been found on the dark web, and these are all of the accounts where you're using it.
Yeah. So Apple has that. There are a couple of other features that you can sign into that allows that to happen. But yeah, that's the other thing that's important. Sometimes, from the tech side, they may get hacked, which gives access to your password, and that could get put out on the dark web. And so there's ways to just go out there and try to check on that. But yes, Apple is trying to do that. I think every platform that you're using should have some access point, but you can always go in and do your own security checks on almost every platform you have. To make sure that you have either two-factor authorization. You can also have what Google has this authenticator that you can use where it spurs a new number each time, so that within seconds, when you want to log into another in your account, you can go through that authorization so that no one else has that unique number, because only you could have it, because the system is generating new numbers for you. There's all kinds of ways to deal with this, but yeah, this is one of those moments where I feel like people need to understand, like this, if there's no other time like the present, change your passwords now.
Okay, so before I go to my panel, so let's say I'm on an iPhone or iPad right now. Where do you go to check your passwords?
It's usually under security. So on any one of your it says login or security. Those are the places that you always go check what they are. And for example, Google allows you to go through and see what's connected to your account, what's connected to your phone. Android has this. You can see what's logged into your phone. Some things you have logged in to your Twitter accounts, to your Google accounts that you've had logged in for so long, and you don't know if those companies have been compromised or not. So you need to make sure that you're doing like your own daily digital, cleansing to make sure that you're like making, if you don't use Tumblr anymore and that has access to your phone, you should probably, disconnect it.
All right, questions from the panel. Let's see, who do I think is probably the most digitally challenged? It would be the Omega, DeMario.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I believe Black women, and especially Auntie Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And she says she was actually hacked, and I'm going to believe that before I believe Twitter. I really appreciate this segment. I appreciate this sister giving that great information. I'm not as technically challenged as Roland wants me to be because I am an Omega, but I would like for you to expound on people like my mother, who's a lot older, who just not keeps saying she don't want to pay any of her bills online because of these very issues. Can you talk about that, why that's safe and how to do that in the most safe way and to be safe on the internet?
It's so funny that people talk about not logging in for their bank account information. I actually was able to, years ago, it was a phone, like it was a dial-up, it was a phone where I could push buttons on a phone to get access to my bank information and to pay bills. So it's funny to me that people don't want to use a website because it's so much simpler than having to dial up from a phone. But the security, especially for banks, like their level of security is higher than most other places. To be honest, I find that tech companies seem to be a little bit too lenient about their access points. We can go into a whole bunch of conversations about that. But when it comes to banks, that's the one place that not only are you secure, but the ways in which they have that security. Excuse me. Now they're like more banks now are making you do two-factor authorization as well. They're always checking your information and making sure it's that they have all those access points. Some banks are actually making it impossible for you to get in unless you get a phone call. So she can use, like, that's another way that she can have access and feel secure, because that phone number is going to be hers, and that phone call comes to her in order for her to get into her bank account. So believe me, the level of security on the banking industry is superb.
Monique?
Yeah, I don't think I have a question, except why won't her office either say that she did not tweet this or that it was an error? I mean, are we supposed to ignore the fact that she says her Twitter account was erased and it wasn't erased? Like, neither account was erased. Her 1.5 million followers are still there. The data is still there. Whoever tweeted that message had access to the account to tweet the message. And I've never seen Congresswoman Waters sign anything, M. Waters. So when I read that, I thought that was the hack, but then it just stayed up. So I'm just confused about all this.
Not only did it stay up,
why they cleaned it up. There's been nothing since. So why are they being so quiet? I mean, I guess it's the crisis manager in me, but y'all are making a mess.
So not only did it stay up, there has been no tweets since. I double checked before coming on.
That's what I'm saying. I just looked.
And the account that isn't and hasn't been tweeting is the one from June 29th, which is her personal one.
But it wasn't erased.
No tweets have been erased. Now, don't get me wrong. It looks like some tweets were deleted on her representative account, which is being reported. I think the silence at this point is the question I think we all have in terms of why there's no more exchanges and no further conversation. So I think she thought that her other account might have gotten erased because there weren't that many tweets there, maybe 1,000 or so tweets from that account. So she clearly can't get in it to see it if that's the case, because it hasn't tweeted. And that may be the case, that there's someone who had access to that made it impossible for her to get into. She may have, again, left it open for someone else to have access.
Anybody else could have said that, hello, staff, protect Auntie Maxine at all costs. What's wrong with y'all? Why hasn't someone fallen on their sword by now? Why are you leaving this out here for shows to cover and for Twitter to deny? Somebody say they tweeted it by mistake. Somebody say they got hit by, a brick and they tweeted and signed it. Somebody say she got hacked and that tweet was the hack. I'm giving you all kinds of options. Use one of them. Let's fix it. Let's fix it. That's all I gotta do. I gotta just fix it because
like you said, protect.
You don't know it.
But she can't get into her personal account and somebody else has access to it, technically it's hacked. So maybe they're still trying to confirm.
That is a great theory. Can you call them with that theory? I like it.
Robert, question.
I think many people, we want to follow the protocols that need to happen in order to secure our accounts. But most people are at this point in time suffering from password overload, just trying to remember the number of passwords for your main account, for your Twitter, your Instagram, your burner account that you go after the haters with, your banking information, logging into your student loans, etc. What are some either apps or services that can coordinate and maybe consolidate your passwords so that it's easier for you to keep up with it? And at the same time be secure.
She just told you. You're not listening.
Robert, where in the hell were you playing with one of your guns or something? I mean, like literally. No, like literally.
Exactly what she said.
Literally, she gave it. Literally, she gave it. I asked again. No, Robert. Robert, I know Scott not here, but you're going to get a Scott Bolden ass whooping today because She gave it. I asked her to spell it. She spelled it and made it clear. What were your ass doing?
Hey, look, the slow folks in the back. It's been a long day. I'm still at work. So can you repeat it for the slow people in the back?
Shireen, go on ahead.
It's called LastPass. LASTPASS.
Oh, Lord.
Last pass. Not puff, puff, pass, pass. Last pass.
Oh man.
Are there any?
You have to listen to black women before you can believe black women.
I was listening. I was listening, and I believed her. I didn't even ask her about the last pass.
Are there any others? Are there any others, Shireen?
Are there any other applications?
Yes.
Yeah, there are others. I'm telling you LastPass because it's probably the one that I trust the most. So I don't give out too many.
That's fine.
Others.
We good right there. We good right there. So good.
But there are others.
All right, there are others. All right, got it. So, we appreciate that. If only Robert would pay attention to when the rest of us are doing the show. But we got it. Shireen, Mitchell, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me as always. This was fun.
All righty.
Unfiltered, man. It's unfiltered.
Somebody, Angelo Sanchez on YouTube said Robert was probably playing Call of Duty while she was talking. That's what they said. All right, y'all. I really don't mind really stuck on stupid Republicans showing who they are. Did y'all see what this polar child, Kim Klachik, how she thought she was trying to own President Joe Biden and the economy? How many of y'all were aware of this? Okay, so I'm hold on one second. Don't pull it up yet. If it's just if you're gonna post something, I mean, at least double check. Y'all, Polar Kim, remember she tried to run for Congress against Kwasi Mfume? Got dusted. You a Republican, black Republican in Baltimore. I could tell you that. Y'all, she posted this today. Go ahead and go to my, do y'all have it? Go to my computer. She shows a photo of empty shelves. And it says, a look at Build Back Better. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that little symbol right there?
Out.
That little symbol, y'all, is not located in the United States. This, y'all, is a photo of a store shelf from out of Europe. Twitter has been roasting her ass for hours after posting this. Now, Lil Kim has deleted the post. Yeah, but ain't nothing like a screenshot. See, this, she says, a look at hashtag Build Back Better. How about a look at hashtag My Ass Ain't Smart? Lord have mercy. Who wants this? The floor is open.
I will take it because apparently today is the day to give professional advice. This could have been quickly handled, Miss Ma'am, where you salvaged where you didn't get any further damage to your reputation. You could have said, got me, my mistake, and then quickly found a picture of an empty grocery shelf in the United States. You could have said what was likely true, that you reposted somebody else's stuff without paying attention to it from all of those under darkness, Ethernet kind of black places that the far right GOP gets things, but you don't just delete and not respond and let the roasting continue. I mean, you either got to laugh with people and laugh at yourself, which can be appreciated, or you got to come up with a plausible explanation. You're doing neither. Again, if she has a team, y'all, fix it. This is not.
How about just saying
black women?
How about saying you got hacked?
You are.
Maybe her last pass got hacked.
I don't understand. I really don't understand these people who, if you're gonna don't try to own Biden and then it's a self-own. Robert.
Well, you know, okay, a couple things. It's kind of piggybacking off of what Monique said. This wouldn't be that hard to fix. All you'd have to do is just subtweet under and say, I know this is from another country. I'm giving you an example of what America will look like in a couple months, and we do not fit the severe supply chain issues that are happening. Circling back to the first story that we had, and there's like some statistics on the number of shipping containers and ships that are stuck at ports, and the exorbitant prices that consumers are paying. So it wouldn't be that difficult to fix. I think it's an internet faux pas, but as Monique said, I think the response was the issue more so than the initial tweet. And quite frankly, I actually think that if I was a Democrat, I would use this as an example why we need to pass the infrastructure bill and the human infrastructure bill, because we do not want this coming to America. If we do not fix our roads and bridges, our transportation system, and our ports and our airports, and get money into people's pockets to be able to actually afford groceries and support small businesses, then that is what America will look like. So I think it's an easily fixable thing, but you can't just leave things out there on the internet hanging.
How about this here, Robert? Just tweet. You know what? My ass just dumb.
Look, you know, Kim's my homie, so I'm not gonna say that. Like, I think that is a
Robert.
All you gotta do is subtweet.
Robert. You know, look, now you know I know Kim too. I tried to have a girl on a show as a panelist. You know that girl in the brightest bulb in the dark ass room.
Hey, look, Kim.
Why do you try to get him to say that every time?
Look,
That's his friend.
Look,
That's
Roland.
his friend.
Robert, come on. Robert, did you tell her to delete her account?
No, look, Ro, I'm just saying, if she worked her way to a primetime speaking spot at the Republican National Convention and raised $8 million for her campaign,
say, dog, that ain't hard.
None of those folks look, if it ain't hard, then ain't everybody doing it.
That ain't hard.
Donald Trump was president. That's not the winning argument.
Right. That ain't. I mean, we talking about when Donald Trump was president. That ain't hard. Robert, Scooby-Doo could have got a speaking role at the Donald Trump Republican National Convention.
Look, there were thousands of candidates around the country that would have loved to have that speaking spot. So I don't think we should downplay people's intelligence or ability to do things. And she does do great things for the community there in Baltimore with job fairs for women who are coming out of abused shelters, working on cleaning up neighborhoods, those sorts of things. So I do think that, as Monique said, you can fix this with a subtweet. It's not that hard, but just don't leave it out there dangling.
I would have went with I'm just dumb.
Listen, I don't know the sister, so I don't want to disparage her. I think the bigger issue for me is with these black Republicans, and you know, I go hard on both parties, but it's such a low bar to get to high places when you are so-called black Republican. You can do the bare minimum and you can get on national TV because it's not a lot of black people over there at all. As long as you say things that are against black people or things that are going to hurt the black community or say things that are inflammatory, the Republican Party is happy to put a black face at the forefront. So just because she was on a national stage with the Republican National Convention, that does not mean a lot as far as if she's intelligent or not. It means that they were able to utilize her as a tool to try to fulfill their political gains.
Well, I got to go pay some bills, but when I come back, I'm going to talk another dumbass black Republican. Matter of fact, you know what? I might want to create a new segment called Crazy Ass Dumb Black Republicans. I'll be talking about Herschel Walker up next. No, not that fool of a son of his, but that original fool, Herschel Walker. That's next on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
It's something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Once upon a time, there lived a princess with really long hair who was waiting for a prince to come save her. But really, who has time for that?
Let's go. Feeling myself. I'm feeling myself.
She ordered herself a ladder with Prime one-day delivery, and she was out of there.
I want some hood girls looking back at it and a good girl in my tax bracket.
Now, her hairdressing empire is killing it. And the prince, well, who cares? Prime changes everything.
Hello, I'm Bishop TDJ.
How y'all doing? It's your favorite funny girl, Amanda Seals.
Hi, I'm Anthony Brown from Anthony Brown and Group Therapy.
What up, Lana Well, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, every day here on Roland Martin Unfiltered, we are going to feature someone who is missing. Sequoia Cooper, missing from Columbus, Ohio. Height is 5'5", weighs 145 pounds. Hair color is black. Eye color is brown. Folks, again, Sequoia, first of all, again, the names. Devin Cooper, who goes by the name Sequoia, has been missing since August 31st, 2021 in Columbus. Last seen driving a black Ford Fusion on the way to the store. Never made it. Described as 5 feet 5 inches. Again, 145 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Any information, folks, please contact the Columbus Police Department Missing Persons Unit 614-645-2358, 614-645-2358. All right, folks, Herschel Walker has raised $3.7 million in his bid to replace Senator, of course, Raphael Warnock. Now, we're talking about Pastor Raphael Warnock, Ebenezer Baptist Church, accomplished, smart, all of that. Herschel Walker played football at Georgia. Not great career in the NFL. Since then, sheer idiot. So he was supposed to have a fundraiser with a Republican, go to my computer, who has this swastika on her Twitter page. And this person here, the swastika was supposed to be about, COVID. Well, Herschel yesterday decided, you know what? I'm not going to denounce. I'm not going to denounce her or cancel the fundraiser. Now, Walker's spokesperson said the image is clearly an anti-mandatory vaccination graphic. That was literally what the response was. Yeah, but a few hours later, Herschel's team said, quote, the symbol used is very offensive and does not reflect the values of Herschel Walker or his campaign. Now, they claim the image is not anti-Semitic and results from fascists demanding people insert foreign material into their body they don't want. Right there, I don't know who this so-called film TV producer is, but they gotta be an idiot. But, Robert, you're there in Georgia. You have to be subjected to, first of all, loony-ass Vernon Jones, okay? And, I mean, it's something when Herschel Walker makes Vernon Jones look like an intellectual.
Well, look, I'll tell Democrats, do not underestimate Herschel Walker. Do not underestimate Vernon Jones. Let's just look at our neighboring state of Alabama, where you had Doug Jones, former federal prosecutor, prosecuted the church bomber there, defeated by Tommy Tuberville, the Auburn head football coach who doesn't even know what the Senate is. He actually thought he was running for the House of Representatives, and then he also thought he was running for governor at one point in time. So this idea that the GOP has to...
That boy can't even spell Senate. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
And he beat a former federal prosecutor in Alabama. So when we're looking at what's going on here in Georgia, we have to, Warnock is going to have to depend a lot on what President Biden is able to get done with his agenda. And then secondarily, Herschel Walker, there's a big chunk of the state where UGA football is a religion. And the patron saint of that is going to be Vince Dooley and then Herschel Walker directly there behind. So the main thing Herschel Walker can do is just be quiet between now and the Republican primary, and he will win that in a landslide. There was a recent poll that had him at 76% of Republican primary voters here in Georgia. And getting into a general election when there's and we're still looking at bad economic numbers like we recently saw, and we're still looking at vaccine mandates, and also COVID isn't under control, the Democrats look like they are not being effective in executing the plan that they ran on, the Build Back Better plan, then Herschel Walker very well could be right there with Tommy Tuberville in the United States Senate. So I think Democrats are going to have to start taking these candidates seriously, even though we may look at them and say they're a joke. There's a big chunk of the electorate. Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene is from this state. People like former Congressman Paul Brown, Newt Gingrich is from this state. So there's a lot of crazy Republicans out here. Once you get outside of 285, it's a very different state, and that's where Herschel Walker is running.
Now I agree, but Georgia is not as dumb as Alabama. I mean, I agree. But
look, that ain't hard.
No. And here's the deal, right? Because here's the deal. Trump still won Alabama. Georgia won. Biden won Georgia. But anytime you mention Tommy Tuberville, it always allows for me an opportunity to show you how dumb that fool is. And so I can't help myself. This was Tommy Tuberville running against Senator Doug Jones. And Tommy Tuberville, y'all, this is him describing the Voting Rights Act.
The thing about the Voting Rights Act is, there's a lot of different things you can look at it as. Who's it going to help? What direction do we need to go with it? I think it's important that with everything we do, we keep secure. We keep an eye on it. It's run by our government, and it's run to the point that it's got structure to it. It's like education. I mean, it's got to have structure. Now, for some reason, we look at things to change, to think we're going to make it better, but we'd better do a lot of work on it before we make that change.
And he won. He's in the Senate right now.
DeMario, that's just a level of dumb.
Yeah, but let's not focus on it. Let's focus on what Robert is saying. They can actually win, and that's the deal. I mean, he's not being dumb. This guy is actually speaking to the people who is his base. And I can tell you,
they dumb too.
That may be the case, but being dumb or not doesn't help us as a community get what we need. We need to make sure.
I know, but he is one of 100 senators.
Yeah, but the issue is he won. The point,
because he's in Alabama.
But he won. I know, Roland, you went to Texas A&M. Yeah, I'm not really used to winning championships. But
hold on. Now, we ain't gonna talk dumb. Your ass went to OU. Now let's be real clear. Ain't that many Rhodes Scholars at OU?
Played at OU, but the point of an election is to win. And Herschel Walker can win because right now the Democrats are not actually delivering the promises that they made. They said they was going to get the police reform. It has not happened. Voting rights, it has not happened. Infrastructure, it has not happened. Wages going up, it has not happened. That is going to hurt Warnock. And as Robert said, Herschel Walker is an all-time great. Georgia's last national championship in football was 1980. Who was the star player? Herschel Walker. Georgia's last person to win a Heisman Trophy was who? Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker has an excellent opportunity, unfortunately, so we can make fun about if they're smart or not, but at the end of the day, he's going to be in the Senate if we don't get the Democrats to do
See, first of all, of course, if you run, you could win, okay? But the thing is, I'm not going to stop mocking and making fun of this idiot because he is an idiot. And what I am going to do, Monique, is I'm going to always show and speak to the intellect and the smarts of Senator Raphael Warnock over this idiot Herschel Walker. Now, I absolutely agree that Democrats must get things passed in the U.S. Senate and must be signed into law. What I do also know is that Pastor Raphael Warnock is very well liked in Georgia and is delivering, especially for those rural parts of Georgia, those farmers as well. But what I'm not going to do is overlook when this fool here was going to do a fundraiser. Now he's backing off. Now he's canceled the fundraiser for somebody who knowingly and willingly uses a swastika on their Twitter page. Monique, go ahead.
So first, I believe, Roland, that that's not a good read of the room to be focusing on someone's lack of smarts, because these voters have shown over and over again that they, though many of us may want people in these jobs who know more, who have gone farther, who have more education, who have more experience, who are better able to do the job than we, what they've shown through the Trumpness and many other times, not just that, I can name any number of relatable politicians who won offices because they were liked, because the people who were voting for them felt like the politician was one of them, and the other person who was running was much smarter and much better able to do the job and much more experienced. So I understand why the temptation would be there to mock him. But I think it points to situations like the video that you just played from now Senator Tuberville, in that I didn't think he was being stupid at all. I thought he was speaking in a code that everyone who follows him and votes for him understands. Because when he asked questions like, what's it gonna do? Who's it gonna help? He's saying quite plainly, it's going to help people other than you. It's not going to help my base.
No, Monique. Monique. You're giving him a lot more credit by saying he's speaking in code. No, that dumbass had no idea. Hold on.
You don't know.
He had no idea what the Voting Rights Act is. He had no idea.
But the people who did knew that who it was going to help was not them. It wasn't going to help his party, which is why we still don't have it. It wasn't going to help them, the people who were his base voting for him, and him saying, before we try to fix something, let's figure out whether it's broke. We may make it worse. He's saying worse for us. You don't agree with the code? Fine. Let's move on. I agree with everything that Robert and Demario said about Herschel. I still remember the best of Herschel. I'm a football person from way back. I can't really, if I don't listen to him and figure out how ridiculous he sounds right now and how twisted he is, I can remember when it was a big deal that he was a Heisman Trophy winner. I can remember. And people will look at him and they like good-looking, nice, smiling, affluent, pleasant, colored.
No facial hair.
And he fits the bill. So I think we take it seriously. I think Raphael Warnock's best argument for those people is not his smarts. Him being likable is good. Where I disagree with my panelists is, listen, all the stuff that people are saying the Democrats haven't managed to do, Warnock needs to drop that in the lap of the GOP, because that has nothing to do with the Democrats. It's not that they have failed to do things that they have promised. It's that they are doing every possible thing that they can, and they're passing everything that they can, but for the votes of an obstructionist, power thirsty and hungry Senate. So no, I'm not going to blame the Democrats for some crap and a deadlock that has to do with the party of the obstructionists. They don't care about getting anything done. So I hope that he flips that. And if he wants to know how to get that flipped, you know, I'm available. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I am never going to undersell somebody who is smart, somebody who has sense, because here's why. I believe it's critically important to frame how dumb is dangerous, how clueless is dangerous, how electing dumb people like Republicans did with that idiot Donald Trump can lead to craziness in this country. And so, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, dumbass. Gonna call her out left and right. And so, because they gotta be called out because of these people. Okay, it's dumb and stupid and clueless is dangerous when you hold one of 100 votes in the U.S. Senate. DeMario, real quick, go.
I just wanted to say to my colleague and sister Monique, the Democrats are in control of the Senate at the moment. They have 50 votes plus. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the buck stops at the top.
What do you do with that?
The buck stops at the top. They're in control, though.
We need 10 more votes.
Hold up. Oh, can't nobody hear either one of y'all talking. I want 1 second. 1 second. DeMario, then Monique. Go.
I just wanted to say that we can't let them off the hook. And number two, again, you call these people dumb, but if they're able to get themselves elected to federal office, they're doing something correctly. And they're doing something that's been able to benefit them and their party. I agree so wholeheartedly with Monique said about that. Margie Green and all these different folks, Tommy Tuberville, they got elected. So they can't be, even Trump. Yes, Trump is intellectually is probably just he's just terrible. But he got elected. He got elected, and we cannot discount that, how difficult that was. He was smart enough to understand that he could go on TV, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, for free, billions of dollars in actual advertising for free. Hey, that's savviness. We cannot take that away from these folks. They say things that are outlandish, crazy, but it gets them coverage. They understand the environment that we're in. So I get it. We're all highly educated on this panel. We value that education. It's important, but these people are not as dumb as we say they are. And I agree with Monique also. They do understand how to talk in code. They do understand and say, who is this going to help? It's not going to help black people. That's who we was counted on to get elected. So we just got to be clear about that and be very clear about also pushing those we actually get elected to make things happen and do it and not have any excuses, because that's what we put them in office for.
They still dumb. Monique, go. Monique, then hold up. Monique, then Robert.
30-second civics lesson. Yes, people who are watching and listening, the majority for the Senate and the House is with the Democrats. In the Senate, though, the things that only require a majority vote, we can get done and have been getting done. The things that require a 2/3 vote, we need 10 more votes.
But it doesn't require, hold up. Civics lesson, it doesn't require it. The Democrats can change it.
Okay, yes, we can change the rules and we can live with the rules as changed. So we have lived with what that change means, and what we really should do to ensure that we don't have to do that is get the numbers we need. I know Robert's going to be coming in. Where we're going to get him, where we're going to get him. Listen, the thing is this. If we are proof, we're filibuster proof, we're majority proof, which we should be, because this GOP, guys, they do not care about their constituents. They don't care about anyone. They are on mob rule right now. They're taking away women's right to choose. They're taking away your voting rights. They don't care if you are paying higher taxes when it suits them. They don't care about whether you get goods, whether your baby got goods for Christmas. They don't care about anything but being obstructionists. They didn't care if we paid our bills. So when you have a GOP like that, you vote them out. Listen to the other members of the Republican Party who are voting Democrat across the board, not because they are Democrats, but because they are sane. So that is what needs to happen now. And I'm in favor, I am, of getting rid of the filibuster, but I understand those who believe that it will come back and bite us in the ass. I just think that desperate times call for desperate measures, and it is a necessary desperate measure.
Robert?
So
Well, look, we got to stop with this idea that being smart gets you places in life. It does not. Look, Hillary Clinton was smart. Donald Trump was dumb. John Kerry was smart. George W. Bush was dumb. Al Gore was smart. George W. Bush was dumb. Dan Quayle was dumb. Ronald Reagan was dumb. You can go all the way down the line for 30 or 40 years. Gerald Ford was dumb, quote unquote, and they keep winning. So if they keep winning, we have to know that just calling them dumb is not an effective way to stop them from winning, because they've been doing it for the last 45 years. So when it comes down to it, you got to get out there, put some points on the board, and make sure that you are talking to and interacting with people in a way that will get them across the line to vote for you. Because at the end of the day, you either win or lose. There's no consolation prize. So I have the best 500-word essay and the highest IQ. Doesn't matter if you lose.
That's right.
And the Rhodes Scholars that we got in, right? If you're going to look at a Clinton or if you're going to look at an Obama, it was almost that they had so much charisma that their smarts were hidden. So the people who aren't into the elitist smart faction voted for them because they liked them.
Oh, hell no. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to diminish the reality and how your fucking brain works. And so part of the problem that we have right now is playing to the illiterate. Look, Obama was smart, but he also was an effective politician. Hillary Clinton was extremely smart. The problem was she was a horrible campaigner. That is the reality. Donald Trump beat somebody, the one person who he could have beaten. First of all, President Joe Biden, when he was running, was not like Mr. Charisma, and Mr. was killing it on the campaign trail. Why did he win? Because he still represented somebody who was smarter than the other person. What I'm saying is this here. We cannot, here's the deal. You actually, one second, you actually make it easier for the other person when you sit here and go, yeah, I know they're dumb, but I'm gonna lower myself. No, you need somebody who is confident, who is smart. Excuse me, I'm talking. You need somebody who is confident, who is smart, who knows how to communicate with the public. And what I'm saying is this here, Herschel Walker, Mr. Bipolar, Mr. who pulled a gun out on his wife, Mr. who's outlandish, the guy who actually loves and adores Donald Trump, yes, I'm going to call him dumb. I'm going to blast him as being dumb. And I'm going to say enough with dumb people in the United States Senate. We need people with brains and smarts. And you know what? It's not elitist to have a brain. It's not. It's actually playing into Republicans' hands who try to say, oh my goodness, the people who are smart are elitists, knowing full well they're the same people who love touting individuals who went to the Ivy Leagues. That's all. We cannot run away from that damn dumbass Herschel Walker.
No, I think it's important that we don't stigmatize because of a mental illness, bipolar. I mean, I have, that.
No. I'm not stigmatizing a damn thing. But guess what? If Herschel Walker pulled a gun out on his former wife, you damn right I'm going to sit here and talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine, but we talked about the bipolar. I just don't think
No. When you run for office, everything is on the table. The Republican Party went off on Hillary when she was dehydrated, leaving a 9/11 ceremony. And guess what? So yeah, I'm gonna bring up every damn thing with Herschel Walker.
But that in my opinion, in my worldview, that doesn't in and of itself disqualify you as someone to run because you have some type of an illness.
You pull that damn gun on your ex-wife, and if he tries to say, well, I did it because I was bipolar, well, are you taking your meds?
Listen, I said that I'm not trying to defend Herschel Walker. I do want to go back to one thing that Monique said about a supermajority. I remember when President Obama was elected, we had 60 Democrats. We had over 300 House Republican Democrats. We had the Democratic office, and they let one person filibuster, Joe Lieberman, at that time. Democrats got to stop using that as an excuse. Use the tools that you have. It is crunch time right now. Our people are getting shot down in the street without police reform. Our people cannot vote. And if we cannot vote, we will never be able to get the majorities again. We have to utilize the power we have now. We need to expand the Supreme Court. We need to bring in Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. We need to get rid of the filibuster. We need to pass Voting Rights Act, pass police reform, raise the minimum wage.
How you gonna do all that?
What the hell the people wanted you to do?
How you gonna do all that?
Don't make excuses about what we can't. We gotta wait on the.
No, you keep DeMario, hold up. You keep saying, do what people elected you to do. How do you get around who's elected in Arizona and who's elected in West Virginia? How?
First of all, I'm not a politician. I'm an advocate.
No.
So
I asked you. No. I didn't ask you you're a politician. You laid out a litany of things that should get done. I'm asking you, how do you get around those two? Because everything you described. Hold up. I'm not done yet. Everything you described requires all 50. How do you get all 50?
Well, I'm not in the Senate. I was not someone that was elected saying I know how this works like President Joe Biden was. I do know that Lyndon B. Johnson in the 60s were able to get absolute white supremacists, on the record white supremacists, to come along and vote for the Voting Rights Act.
Hold up. No. Because DeMario, if you're going to use LBJ as an example, then what you should do is actually do an apples to apples comparison. Were there Southern Dixiecrats? Yes. How did he do it? The numbers in the 60s were not the same numbers that they are right now.
The point I'm making is he figured out a way, and that's what we need to have the president. Hey, we elected him to figure out a way to use whatever tools he needs to go to Manchin and Sinema and the others, because there are others in the Senate, and tell them this is what we're going to do, and use whatever leverage they have.
What leverage is? What's the leverage?
I'm doing the leverage. I'm saying that's what they need to do.
But Joe, you keep saying the leverage. Here's the deal. No, hold on. You said the leverage. One of the ways it used to be done, pork barrel projects. Those have been outlawed. Don't have that anymore. Okay?
They can bring it back. They have the votes.
DeMario, okay, you keep saying they have the votes. They don't have the votes without Sinema and Manchin.
They got 50 Democrats. At the end of the day, do you think people are going to stand in line for 4, 6, 8, 10 hours just because they say, oh, we couldn't get these people to do something? They need to figure it out because it's an issue of life or death for our community. If they cannot figure this out, you cannot expect black people in Georgia to go in those lines like they did 4 years ago.
And I'm asking you again. And look, I agree. I believe it should get passed. But here's the deal that people need to understand. If you were black in Georgia who voted for Ossoff and Warnock, you didn't vote in West Virginia. You didn't vote in Arizona. And so that's what we've got to understand. What people are now learning is I voted for Biden and Harris. That's fine. Biden and Harris. No, 1 second. Biden and Harris. What?
Has President Biden come out and really come hard against the filibuster? Has President Biden one time said, I want to get rid of the filibuster? He has not.
Okay. All right. Okay, fine. All right. Biden comes out and says, I want to get rid of the filibuster. You already have 2 people who have said under no circumstances they're going to do that. Now what?
They said underneath that with Biden coming out and saying,
Okay. DeMario, them 2 people have said under no circumstances.
I mean, they say stuff all the time. They're politicians. They change their mind all the time. We both know that everybody.
Has Sinema and Manchin changed their position on the filibuster so far?
Has Joe Biden changed his position on the filibuster so far?
His position don't matter because he can't vote on it.
If he comes out and shows president, do everything he possibly can. That's all you can ask anybody to do. You're the president, do every tool that you possibly can. If he comes out and says, I'm for this, and they're still against it, at least he can tell the black people that voted him in, who he looked us in the eyes and said, if you vote us in, we will make sure that your lives are better. We will make sure police reform happens. We will make sure your voting rights happen. He can at least say, I've done everything I possibly can, but he cannot say that today.
Okay, hold on. Here's the mistake. But again, here's the mistake that you're making. He ain't on the ballot next year. It's the midterms. And here's the deal. And this is what people are learning. What people are learning, Robert, Monique, and Mario, they're learning exactly what a political system is. They're learning that you may have voted for somebody in your state, but guess what? You don't control what's happening for the person in another state, which is why the Poor People's Campaign is putting pressure by having West Virginians rally and pressure Manchin, while we're rallying people in Arizona as well. I absolutely agree. I want to see the bills passed. I want to see it done. But this is also a problem when your fate is left in the hands, when you have such a razor-thin margin and you need every vote, and Manchin and Sinema are saying, I don't care. Why I will not get rid of the filibuster. Robert, go.
Well, look, Roland, I think this, to DeMario's point, this is that place where you have a president who pulls up in West Virginia in Air Force One and explains to the voters there, not to Joe Manchin, to the voters, that if you want to close these coal mines and reopen them with clean, green energy, if you want new roads, new bridges, new streets, then they need to put that pressure on Joe Manchin. And at the end of the day, he has the power of both the bully pulpit and executive orders. Guess what?
How is President Joe Biden going to stop federal funding from going to West Virginia?
All he has to do is cancel the contracts.
No, he can't. No, he can't. No, he can't. No, he can't. Pork barrel ended. What you're describing used to be able to be done. When they got rid of pork barrel projects, that was the lever presidents and appropriators used. They got rid of it.
Look, Roland, what I'm saying is just do the exact same thing that President Trump did last year to Republicans. Remember, one day Republicans will say, well, this is disgusting, I can never do it. President Trump will have a meeting with them. The next day, they're all in line like little sheep. It doesn't matter what he did. He can get them to deny the election. He can get them to be in favor of wall funding. He can do a Muslim ban. So why is it Republican presidents seem to have more power when they're in power than Democrat presidents do? Democratic presidents always seem to be talking about all the things that they can't do. Republican presidents seem to get those things done, whether you like it or not. So he needs to use that power of the bully pulpit and of the presidency to pressure those senators, which we have not seen yet.
And y'all keep saying this bullshit as if y'all act like there's no difference between both parties. The reality is this here. The Republican Party is a far-right party. The Democratic Party has liberals, has independent, has moderates in it. The reality is there is no Republican equivalent to Manchin Sinema. There's no Republican equivalent to Bernie Sanders, to Angus King. There's no Republican. That's why. So when Donald Trump threatens a Republican, Donald Trump knows I can oppose you in a primary and take you out. Hell, Biden knows he cannot run somebody against Manchin and win in West Virginia. He knows that. He knows it.
If you're running scared, you ain't gonna win.
What do you mean running scared? Jim Justice, a billionaire, was elected as a Democrat governor in West Virginia. What happened when Trump won? He flipped to become a Republican. That's what happened. At some point, we gotta stop living in bullshit fantasy land and live in reality about actually what is happening.
I live in a land where I represent families who are killed every day because we have no police reform.
Well, then tell me how you gonna get it if you don't have the votes. How?
I'm saying the president, listen, I live in Oklahoma. My vote always never counts on the federal level. It's red as red can be. As soon as they stop voting, they count to the Republicans. But the president of the United States of America is President Joe Biden, and I'm saying that he is not doing enough to put pressure on and do everything in his arsenal to make sure that our lives are protected, our votes are protected, our livelihoods are protected. I'm going to continue to say that. I am not the president. I am not a senator, and I'm going to continue to push for them and those who I represent and those who I advocate for to push those who are in power and not allow them to say I'm not doing this because of one or two other people. Get it done. If you can't get it done, hell, it's almost better to just let the other people be in charge. Because we thought this was going to be a transformational election.
Hell no. Absolutely not. See, again, right there, I get your point, Mario, but that's bullshit. Because here's the reality. If you let what you just said, let them be in charge. If you let them be in charge, the Republican Department of Justice does not look like the Biden Department of Justice. The Trump Department of Health and Human Services does not look like the Biden Department of Health and Human Services. The Trump Commerce Department, EPA, does not look the same. Look, I'm with you on that. I want the bills passed. I'm saying put pressure on Biden. But what I'm saying is, at some point, people are going to have to stop getting out of Disneyland and deal with the reality that you have a different situation, a different political reality on the Democratic side than you have on the Republican side. You have a different apparatus. It is a fact. It is a simple, basic, fundamental, no-holds-barred fact. And so,
but I'm never going to stop advocating. I'm never going to stop advocating.
And I'm saying that as well. But what I am saying is this here. I'm saying that when we're looking at reality, they have a system set up with rules. You need 60. Unless you can find 10 Republicans, it ain't gonna happen. And so now you're left with a situation. And so now, here's what people are going to have to decide next year. Okay, a folks gonna say, you know what? I haven't seen stuff delivered, so therefore I'm gonna sit it out. What you got next year? Open seat in Ohio. Open seat in Pennsylvania, open seat in North Carolina. You got an open seat. Well, first of all, Ron Johnson, you could win a seat in Wisconsin, and you got Val Demings in Florida. That's 5 seats. Democrats hold their majorities. What you might be facing is not 50-50. You might be facing 55-45. You might be facing a different situation here. And guess what? You win 4 of those 5, or all 5, you just negated Manchin and Sinema. And now you can break the filibuster. But here's the whole deal. We got to be honest with people and say that, because you already got Trump sending a statement out today saying the Republicans do not overturn the election results. He's going to tell folks to stay home in 2022 and 2024. Great. I hope they all stay home. But I'm saying I'm going to be honest with people. I'm going to push Biden, do more, but I also got to be realistic of what I'm facing with Sinema and Manchin, 2 people who don't give a damn about the pressure. And I'm saying I'm going to tell anybody, don't stay at home in 2022, because guess what's going to happen? If the Republicans, it's 50-50 right now, if they get control of the U.S. Senate, nothing will ever get passed. Guess what? Democrats could lose the House as well. What then happens? Republicans control the House and the Senate, and then when you say let them be in control, then they'll be in control, and then we'll see what happens when they are in control. No. So I'm going to a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk marijuana policy here in the United States. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson, like really loves.
Peace and love, everybody. I'm Purple Wonder Love.
Hey, I'm Donnie Simpson.
What's up? I'm Lance Gross, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
marijuana policy is a huge issue in this country. There's a considerable effort to actually get marijuana legalized in various states. We have seen an increasing number where this actually takes place. But then, of course, you have what's happening on the federal level. According to the ACLU, between 2010 and 2018, there are more than 6 million marijuana-related arrests. Black people more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than white folks in every state, including those that have legalized marijuana. Joining me now is the Executive Director of the Marijuana Policy Project and Interim President of the U.S. Cannabis Council, Stephen Hawkins, here in D.C. Stephen, when we talk about this, what people don't understand is you have a mix of laws. You have a federal marijuana policy, then you've got these state policies. What may be decided in Washington State, California, Colorado is a hell of a lot different in Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Arkansas.
Well, that's right, Roland. And we know that we have decades of racist law enforcement and criminalization that has really been at the heart of cannabis being prohibited in the United States. There was a time back in the 1880s, over 100 years ago, it was legal. And when the jazz era came in and jazz artists started using cannabis, we saw the federal government begin to clamp down. And then with Nixon in 1970, he literally put cannabis on the same level as heroin, which no one in their right mind believes that. But that's where we've been for these 50 years now. So we're seeing states, as you mentioned, we've seen several states now legalize cannabis for retail sales and have allowed it also for medical purposes. But then you have lots of other states like Mississippi and Georgia and others which are still not only prohibiting cannabis, but also having some of the worst laws on the books in terms of criminalization. So, for example, Roland, in Alabama, on your second offense, no matter how much cannabis you had, you end up serving a year in jail. And we have to go after those sorts of laws that are still on the books. We have to get to the point where we stop policing cannabis, right? I'm very encouraged by these new laws like New York has passed, where the police could no longer use the scent of cannabis alone to stop and search vehicles. And ultimately, Roland, we have to make sure that we see the end of federal prohibition. And, many folks in the Democratic Party have moved that way. We have a president who has not embraced legalization. So we still have work to do. To get to the point where we're ending federal prohibition. Okay, so how do you end it on the federal level? Legislation? Yeah, it's going to take legislation, and I think, Roland, once we're at the point now where so how many Republicans support it? How many Republicans? So we talk. Okay, so let's see again. Though. Yeah. So again, right. we could talk general. We could talk details. How many Republicans support ending the federal ban on marijuana? When we have maybe at the most maybe 20 Republicans in the House, and we got no. I mean in the Senate. You probably do you have first of all, do you have a majority of Democrats who support it in the House? Yes. So you don't even need Republicans to vote on the bill in the House. That's right. In the Senate, how many Republicans support ending the federal ban on marijuana in the United States Senate? We have maybe 2 or 3 on record, right? So we have to get others on board. So unless the filibuster's ended, you need all 50 Democrats and you need 10 Republicans. You got it. So right now, you don't have it. Don't have it now, right? And that's where, Roland, states, so we're in this situation, right, where we have states like Montana, which have now legalized through a ballot effort, South Dakota, right? And so here's the thing with cannabis, right now in the country, right? This is, we win in the reddest of red states, right? So the problem is that the politicians in those states, right, whether it's like Senator Rounds in Montana or someone like John Thune in South Dakota, they're thumbing their nose at their own constituents, right? We're winning in Montana by a comfortable margin. We won in South Dakota. Mississippi had a ballot initiative for medical. So our work is going to be really how do you begin to mobilize some of those folks in those states to begin to put pressure on their senators. So, we're not going to see the end of federal prohibition, probably in this session of Congress. But I think, Roland, it's probably a 4 or 5 years out that we'll get there. And we're also going to continue to see states legalize, right? We'll probably be at half the states in the country by the end of 2022.
So really your strategy, let's be honest, your strategy is not really, trying to go after the federal. If you flip more states, that's going to put pressure on federal.
Exactly, man. And it gets to the point, Roland, where it becomes just untenable, right? And then even if some of these diehards, they don't have to like cannabis. I just need them to vote for it, right? And ultimately, they begin to see that it's inevitable, right? When you have half the states in the country getting to the point of legalizing cannabis for adult use, and right now 36 states, soon probably 40 for medical, then it just begins to be inevitable. And some of these folks who, they may not sponsor a bill, but as long as they don't block it on the floor and are willing to vote for it, that's where we have to get.
Questions. First up, Robert.
So Senator Sanders during the last campaign or last election said that he would try to decriminalize marijuana via executive order by ordering the Attorney General to deschedule marijuana from being a Schedule I substance to being to kind of circumvent the need for Congress to do so. Why would that still be an option for President Biden if he did come out strongly in favor of decriminalization of marijuana to go through the Attorney General and simply deschedule it?
Biden could certainly reschedule it, Robert, but to deschedule it, that will probably take an act of Congress. But again, this is one of those areas where if the president was wanted to flex his muscle, he could, right? We definitely don't want to see cannabis just rescheduled, because as long as it, if it goes from Schedule I, where it is, to like Schedule II, then it's on the same plane with like cocaine, right? So, it may make, some efforts easier, but my fear is that we'll just still continue to see the criminalization of folks of color as long as cannabis is on anywhere on that schedule.
Could he instruct the Attorney General and Department of Justice to simply no longer prosecute cannabis or arrest because of cannabis on a federal level? Could he issue pardons or commute the sentences of those who are currently incarcerated on the federal level for cannabis, those sorts of things, just to simply start flexing his muscle, as you said from the executive office?
Yeah, Robert, he could do all of that now, right? And we have submitted a letter to the president saying that he should move forward on expungements. There was an effort recently where I know several prominent artists and athletes and others have also urged Biden. But this president hasn't done a damn thing about cannabis. He has said that he believes that it should be decriminalized, but I haven't seen him do anything, taken any steps towards that. And he has a Black economic empowerment agenda, right? And this is an industry which is going to create still another 700,000 jobs, where there's opportunities for Black entrepreneurs to start businesses. there's a need for regular banking so that folks can take advantage of financial services and get bank loans. These are all things that the president could help move, but he hasn't done any of it.
Questions, Monique?
No, I just wonder if there are any action items for us, things that we can do by way of support, because certainly we can't get done the things that the president is doing, but I know that the public being informed and trying to utilize their voices and their vote would matter here. Just tell us what to do.
Sure. Well, Bonnie, I think that in every state, folks should be reaching out to their members of Congress and their senators, encouraging the legalization of cannabis. Folks can always go to the MPP website, mpp.org. We've been around 25 years, responsible for most of the legalization efforts in the country. Folks should definitely lean in on their, Black civic institutions and civil rights organizations. The Urban League, the NAACP, have National Action Network, have all been getting active, and we all can put more pressure on this administration. So those are some concrete things to be done, and just really encourage this president to live up to this part of his campaign promise.
DeMario.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm here in Oklahoma, so you probably know over the last 2 or 3 years, we've had an explosion of cannabis, medical marijuana here in the state. You can't drive anywhere in any small town, big cities, whatever, you see in cannabis shops. And one of the things, I have a client.
Those Republicans in Oklahoma love that cannabis money.
Oh, they do. They love it. But the money is my question. One of the issues is that they don't have good banking opportunities. So they have to keep so much cash on hand. They have to have 24-hour security. So what has been done now that since the federal government and the presidency is not moving forward, what can small businesses, Black entrepreneurs who are in this space, how do they best protect themselves? What are the services they can use? Because I know that's something that is a big issue here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm glad you raised that. So, as much as I love Brother Cory Booker, I've spoken to him on this personally. Right now, Senator Booker, as well as Senator Schumer, they are trying to get a comprehensive bill passed, to end federal prohibition. But like I said at the beginning, that's not going to happen in this session of Congress. What can happen in this session of Congress is we can see banking services brought forward, right? But part of the rhetoric is that banking's only going to help the big businesses, the fat cats. Look, the reality is they already worked out banking, right? It's the small, struggling, person of color who's trying to break into this space, who cannot afford to pay any bank, $5,000 a month for a checking account, which is typical, right? And not only is it just the banking, right? Folks get denied mortgages because they, don't have regular accounts, right? We've seen, all of the public safety issues because it's a cash business. But also, we need to make sure that if we have, Black folks trying to break into the cannabis business, if they're able to access banking services, then that opens the door for us to be able to insist that they get some loans from banks. And, that's where, I spent 5 years at the NAACP, and one of the things that we did was, you push banks to make loans available, right? We can't create that leverage, right? So folks are getting licenses, right? I mean, that's a fight, but we are getting, Illinois just did a round of licenses. A lot of folks of color got licenses in that. But if they can't access capital to actually maintain their businesses, they're going to go under, right? And so banking is real. We have to encourage Senator Booker to see that, right? I am all for making sure that we have comprehensive reform, right? That we see the end of federal prohibition. But the reality is that, you know, these black businesses that are struggling right now, they will not make it another 2 years unless we're able to get banking services.
All right. If folks want more information, where should they go to find out about your initiatives? Where should they go?
They should go to mpp.org. We have great information there, Roland. Again, mpp.org. They can certainly follow me on Twitter, Stephen W. Hawkins.
All right, Stephen Hawkins, we certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all.
Folks, got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a new app that helps you give back to black interests. And also, in Indianapolis, crazy cops facing charges. We update on that story as well. Lots more. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Once upon a time, there lived a princess with really long hair who was waiting for a prince to come save her. But really, who has time for that?
Let's go. Feeling myself. I'm feeling
She ordered herself a ladder with Prime one-day delivery, and she was out of there.
I'm with some hood girls looking back at it, and a good girl in my tax bracket.
Now, her hairdressing empire is killing it. And the prince, well, who cares? Prime changes everything.
But I'm back at it, and I'm feeling myself.
I'm Shantae Moore.
Hi, I'm BB Winans.
Hey, I'm Dolly Simpson.
What's up? I'm Lance Gross, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Now, why can't these white conservative Donald Trump people pay their money back? Pro Football Hall of Famer Brett Favre, one of many who could be facing a lawsuit over alleged misuse of welfare funds. The Mississippi State Auditor's Office is demanding repayment from a list of parties, including the former NFL quarterback, who illegally used a total of $77 million from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. The auditor says Brett Favre must pay $828,000 in 30 days or face a civil lawsuit. He was paid that to give speeches, but it was really for work he never did. Robert, this broke Mississippi. This is supposed to be a Mississippi hero. Brett, your ass got it. Send that money back.
Well, you know, I don't know what Brett Favre's finances are, but I do think this is that place where the GOP always likes to attack, quote unquote, the welfare queens, black folks using social services. Immigrants are coming here to get on public assistance. But when it comes down to it, they are the ones who are taking hundreds of thousands, if not millions often, in any federal program. We saw big businesses exploiting the PPP program. We saw them exploiting the EIDL program. We see the government subsidies that go to large farms and agricultural producers and oil producers. So I think that when we're having these arguments, particularly about this human infrastructure bill, the $3.5 trillion bill, we have to note that if you're scared of, a little kid getting more health care or old people being able to get glasses and dental services, and you're talking about we need to cut the budget and cut spending, we have to start by cutting out some of this fraud, waste, and abuse that we see from many of these Republican supporters.
So, Monique, I saw you rolling your eyes when Robert said he don't know about his money. Yeah, I saw you. You like, about his pocketbooks. You got something to say about this?
His money is longer than the people they were ripping off. I mean, it's a grift. It's a grift. And
because he received one. Here's what the story here says, Monique. Brett Favre received $1.1 million for speaking engagements in which he did not appear. He repaid $500,000 of that money with a commitment to repay the remainder in installments over the next few months. So he not only they got the wrong money, he didn't even give the speeches.
Do you want me to explain how differently that would go if it was one of us on this panel?
Sure. Sure. Explain away.
Yeah. It would be front page news, and it wouldn't be about him misusing funds and having an apology and taking his sweet time paying back money we all knows he can pay back. It would be theft, it would be misappropriation, it would be stealing from the government, it would be wire fraud, it would be anything that you could possibly name. All of those things would be lodged at one time because there are two standards in these disunited states, dysfunctional states of America. So what you are watching now is, as my good friend DeRay would say, we're just watching whiteness work.
Here's what I found to be hilarious, DeMario. The Mississippi Free Press writes this here. White said Favre accepted the money for speaking engagements that he never attended for Families First for Mississippi, one of the nonprofits involved in the alleged scheme. The football star has said he did not know the funds were illegal when he accepted them. Okay. Your ass didn't even show up.
Yeah, I mean,
now, where I come from, if I take some money for a speech that my ass never gave, somebody looking for their money.
Yeah, I mean, Monique is a great criminal defense attorney, and like she stated, I mean, it's embezzlement, it's bank and wire fraud. He's dealing with federal funds, and she stated, I mean, it is a double standard that we see each and every day across the United States of America, where Black and brown people are brutalized and given harsh sentences for the minute offenses and things of this nature, where he literally took $1 million away from needy families. And I think on that article you showed, it said TANF. That is a program for poor, a federal state program for poor Mississippians. The person who gave him that money, $1 million to give speeches, they should be charged with a crime. That's ridiculous. That money should be spent in a much better, efficient way. But the fact that he took the money and didn't show up, that is a crime. And then they gave him leeway to pay it back, and he's still not paying it back. I mean, that is just, as Monique stated, that is just white privilege. There's no other way to state it. I mean,
but
big-time football player, and it's just like, look, I'm a powerful white man down in Mississippi.
But it's not just Brett Favre, because DeMario, this may be problematic for you. It also says that the Marcus Dupree Foundation, owned by the former NFL player of the same name who went to OU, he owes $789,534. So DeMario, no, but here's the other deal. Wrestler Ted DiBiase, Senior, he owes $722,299 that went to his Christian ministry, the Heart of David Ministries. Now his son got $3.9 million. His ass. But all I'm saying is, DeMario, you might want to call the former star at your alma mater, OU. He might need your legal help for the $700,000. So I'm just saying.
No, it's not like he ain't got no money.
Well, this is the thing. He's not going to get the same benefit of doubt as Brett Favre. I mean, all seriousness, if you're taking government money.
Actually, you're wrong. No, you're wrong, because according to the story, all of them have 30 days to pay that money back or face civil suit. So I'm just saying, you always touting OU. You might want to help I'm just saying, I mean, if it was a Texas A&M Aggie, I might be offering my assistance, but I'm just saying, you might want to do that with your little OU people. All right, y'all, I got to go to a break. When we come back on Roland Martin Unfiltered, we're going to talk about a GiveBlack app. And so that's what happens. Those people who go to OU, they can't really pay their debts. They talk a lot of trash during football season, but that's one of the things that happens. And so, I know you got your little cute-ass little OU helmet back there and your football, but why don't you little OU former football players pay your damn debts? That's what you might do. You show that ring, but you won't talk about that ass whipping the Aggies putting on your boys in the Cotton Bowl. We're going to leave that alone. All right, y'all. Y'all want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered, please download our Black Star Network app from every available platform: Android, Apple, Roku, Samsung, Amazon Fire, of course, Xbox, Android TV, you name it, and support us in what we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar you give goes to support this show and what we do. bringing you the kind of information, traveling all around the country, doing stories as well. Of course, Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Back in a moment.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
What's up, what's up? I'm Dr. Ricky Dillard, the choir master.
Hey, yo, Peace World, what's going on? It's the Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, a Black-owned company is making it easier for you to crowdfund and support Black-led organizations. The GiveBlack app is designed to help organizations find donors through a simple 3-step process. David Hughes is the founder and CEO of the GiveBlack app. Joins us right now from my hometown in H-Town. You see I'm repping the Astros, so that's how we do it. Those folks from Oklahoma, they typically cheer for the Texas Rangers. They suck, but it's all good. Robert, are your Braves still? Your Braves are going to the AL Championship Series.
Yeah, we're in the
National League.
We're in the NLCS. Yeah, we ain't got steel signs either.
Okay, gotcha. But y'all still suck. But it's all good. All right, let's talk about it, David. Explain the app.
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me on here in 06 to the good bros.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got a fellow alpha. I'm sorry, DeMario. As usual, you don't have that kind of greatness in your fraternity. We rarely feature any Omegas who have their own apps because that requires
you keep inviting me back.
because that requires knowledge. All right, David, go ahead.
Yeah, so what we wanted to do with GiveBlack was to create a one-stop shop, one, to make people aware of services of organizations that are provided in our community that need additional support. And then 2, we want to be able to support said organizations that need our support. So the research shows that majority of Black nonprofits and organizations spend the majority of their money just keeping the lights on, having employees and looking for government grants. So they do need additional support. So essentially, what we created was a GoFundMe for organizations, not necessarily people. So as long as your organization is doing work in the Black community, is Black-led, we want people to be able to find out about your services and 2, fund said services.
All right. And so how does it work? You see a 3-step process. What does that mean?
So it's free to download on Apple or Google Play. And all you have to do is download it, sign up for your organization. Once we vet your organization, you'll be approved, and then you'll be able to start receiving funds within 48 hours of approval.
Gotcha. So again, let's say that Marcus Dupree Foundation got to give some money back, and so y'all able to help them raise some funds to pay Mississippi back. Is that how it works?
Yes, but that's why we have a 48-hour process so we can vet our organizations. So one thing about us is we focus on organizations and not individuals because we believe in empowering the community. You need to focus more so on organizations, and there's other technologies that focus on individuals, but we're more so organization-based. So churches, nonprofits, your show, anything that wants to produce things that can be beneficial to the Black community, we want on the app, and we want people to have a one-stop shop to promote and give Black, and not only, you know, just for a day of giving, but year-round.
All right, then. Questions, Monique?
Why do I always have to go first?
Fine, Robert.
When you say you're working with organizations, who are some of the organizations you're working with thus far? And if they do want to get involved, how do they contact you, and how can they find out more information?
So if they want to contact us, they can contact us at any of our social media, which is GiveBlack app. You can go to our website, which is GiveBlackApp.com. Currently, we have a former NBA player, George Lynch. His HBCU Heroes organization is on the app. We have a myriad of other ones, but I guess I would say our shining star is North Park Community Development, which is an organization upstate New York, which helps combat gentrification. So download the app, fill it out. You'll get an email from myself or my assistant, and that's the easiest way to get in contact with us.
Okay, so you say it's the app, but like I'm on the Apple Store right now on my computer. But I don't see it. So what platforms is it available on?
Oh, it's on Apple. And what'd you type in? Did you type in GiveBlack app?
I typed in GiveBlack. Nothing came up.
Oh, do app. So GiveBlack app.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you alphas do. Y'all don't complete the whole process. While this brother's trying to find it, hold
up. You ain't the host. Breathe. So I just typed in GiveBlack app, and it doesn't come up. So I'm on the Apple Store. I'm on the Apple Store. So you might just want to just check that. See, so we do this. Well, we'll check it. So I typed in GiveBlack app. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, and then the website is also GiveBlack app. Okay, let's try this here. GiveBlackApp.com, right? All right. Yes. So I should be able. Is there a link? Is there?
Isn't it GiveBlack crowdfunding for us by us? Isn't that what I'm looking at? GiveBlack.
No,
yes.
Right. So. I'm looking for it on the computer, and did you find it on your phone?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay, on your phone. I'm on the computer, Monique. The App Store.
I can't help it if your computer is slow, Roland. You give me all these tech lessons. Get it together.
You done? Hold up. Monique, you done? You ready for hashtag team whip that ass to show up?
Just act like it never happened.
So Monique, let me explain something to you since you want to be a smart ass on the show. The reality is there are the different apps for computers than also for your mobile device. So there are some apps that you can buy that are computer-based that you can't buy with the phone. So all I'm doing is checking. So I'm not able to pull up on the computer, but I can pull up on the phone. But since you want to be a smart ass about it, you just go ahead and get checked. All right, go ahead, DeMario. Go and ask your question to David.
Well, I was just going to say, would love for my organization, Justice for Greenwood Foundation, which is working a national organization for truth, justice, and reparations for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. What is the verification process? We are a 501c3, justiceforgreenwood.org. Anybody want to connect with us and help us get reparations for our 3 known living survivors? What's the verification process for an organization to become on your platform as someone that you verify that they were a good steward of the funds that we will be able to raise?
Yes, that's a great question. So we look for a historic or current mission to serve underserved communities or a Black organization. So as long as that's your mission, we see there's nothing fishy going on, you will be approved.
All right, good deal. So we just reach out to you through the GiveBlackApp.com, and we'll connect with you guys. That sounds fantastic. We would love to do that, particularly with Giving Tuesday coming up. That's something that our organization is gearing up for with the Justice for Greenwood Foundation. So definitely look forward to connecting with you on that.
Absolutely, sounds good. And who says alphas and Qs can't work together?
Oh, hell no. Well, first of all, somebody got to employ them. So I get it. All right. So hold on before you do that. So David, here's the issue. Go to my computer. So I went to your website. and I clicked right here. You see how it works. Let's see how it works. Then when I click download from the App Store, then it takes me to the App Store preview. When I click view in the Mac App Store, what happens is it comes up and it actually says it's not compatible with this device. So it says that the app that's on your website only works for the iPhone. So I'm only saying that because if somebody out there tries to use it from their computer. So I definitely pulled it up on the iPhone, but the version for the computer is not working in the App Store. So just want to let you know that.
Okay, thank you for notifying us.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Not a problem, not a problem. So we always go through that thing. All right, so who has some, Monique, you have something extra you want to add?
Yes, it's my turn.
No, you missed your turn trying to be a little smart ass earlier, trying to tell me I can't work a computer, but I just showed you how that went down. But go ahead, ask your little question. Go on.
It's just so much hostility. I'm wondering, because I believe the name of the organization we was covered by Roland once before was HBCU Change, maybe, or something like that, whether you're aware of each other with similar functions, but could perhaps assist each other along the way, because their giving is specifically dedicated to HBCUs, and yours is dedicated more to Black organizations generally. But what I appreciate is that we're all doing more things. But what I love more than that is when we collaborate. So I don't know if you had heard of them or not, but it's HBCU Change.
No, I have not.
Right, Roland? Is that the organization? Wasn't it HBCU Change? You did that segment on them?
I don't know. That's so long ago. I'll look it up.
Well, Monique, we'll look into it, and hopefully we could do something to cross collaborate. And if you know them, please put me in contact with them.
Yeah, it's HBCU Change. That's what it is. All right. Again, David and folks out there, man, look, we do a lot of segments. I don't remember all of them, okay? Good luck with the app. It is the GiveBlack app. Folks, you can pull up on your iPhone. David, they're going to work on it, pull up on the computer. But folks, check it out. And please support the folks who are doing some great work. David, thanks a bunch. Always glad to see alphas handling their business. And yes, we do have mentoring classes for Omegas, Kappas, Iotas, and Sigmas.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, even those from Oklahoma. All right, y'all, real quick break. I'll come back with our final two stories. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
That spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you. All of
Betty is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon. So now, she's free to become Bear Hug Betty. Settle in, kids. You'll be there a while. Ooh, where you going?
What's going on? This is Tobias Trevelyan.
Hey, I'm Amber Stevens-West.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
In Georgia, black high school students get suspended for planning an anti-racism protest. Students at Coosa High School waved a Confederate flag during a school spirit day. In response to the overt racism, students planned a protest consisting of Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ flags. Well, the administrators refused the request and suspended the black organizers. The white and Latino student organizers were not. Parents claim their children endure racial comments and slurs in school and will miss homecoming due to these suspensions. Black students have the highest rate of suspensions in the school district. Robert, what the hell's going on in your Georgia?
And look, I keep trying to tell y'all, you leave 285 and you're going back to Mississippi burnings. And it's predominant throughout the state. You still have a very Confederate mindset. I would recommend for those parents, if at all possible, to take your students out of that school and put them into a nearby school district if it's a possibility. But at the same time, you have to look at your school board elections. You have to be engaged with the administration and also the administered statewide to ensure that these stories are coming to light, and you try to get those people out of power who think that they can simply continue to subjugate young people for exercising their constitutional rights and supporting this Confederate mindset which still exists within the state.
Sounds like they need a lawyer, Monique.
They need that and some more stuff. Listen, the thing about it, though, is everything isn't a legal solution. These parent boards need to become more active, because the same way I say you can sue and get wrongful death money, but it doesn't bring your child back, you can sue civilly, much more severe, but you can sue civilly because the kids got suspended, they missed homecoming, it affected a mark on their transcript. They don't get those experiences back. People have to be active and proactive on the front end, so they're not calling, the DeMarios of the world on the back end of these circumstances. If you know you're in a district like that, and I agree with Robert, get out, just straight out the movie, get out. But sometimes you can't. And so there has to be somebody there that defends them and defends their right to be there and to be a full expressive human being in that circumstance. I applaud these children for their efforts, and I hope that people in the surrounding areas have their back.
All right, then. In Missouri, murals that have been in a courthouse for nearly 30 years are being removed after much outrage. In the Boone County Courthouse, murals show an attempted lynching and a white man pointing a gun at a Native American. The county commission voted to have them removed and safely stored away. Installed back in the 1990s, the artwork shows scenes from Columbia, Missouri from the late 19th century. DeMario, the 1990s? Did nobody realize in the 1990s that don't make any sense?
Well, I just would like to know, is this depicting something that actually happened? Are they showing the truth about these particular white men, murdering black people and Native American people? I like to have more context about it. What was this actually depicting? Or is this someone just saying, look, I just think this is what I want to have happen? Because maybe this is something people need to know. They need to see this information. So it is shocking, but it's shocking that these things actually occurred. So that's what it would be good for me to have more context of what this was actually about.
Well, again, what you find here, folks, is always something that's crazy, such as this in Indianapolis, where a police officer is being charged with 2 felonies after stomping on a handcuffed man's head. Folks, roll the video, please. Officers were called for reports of Jermaine Vaughn allegedly being loud and disorderly. Well, this Sergeant, Eric Huxley, is facing charges of official misconduct and battery with moderate bodily injury. Go back to the video, please. This is a statement I'm going to read from the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. They have condemned the officer's action, and they are recommending his termination. The Department of Justice is also investigating the September 24th incident to determine if federal laws were violated. The statement reads, the sergeant's actions do not represent Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department's values or community expectations of its police department. My thoughts are with the victim and the officers who do what's right every day. Chief Randall Taylor did the right thing and took swift and certain action. Keep rolling the video. This is one of those things that, again, DeMario, we constantly see this crap, how these officers behave. Yesterday, we showed a video earlier this week of a Georgia police officer stomping on the head of a black man who was detained, and it's problematic when we have to show these videos, but the reason we do is because we keep reminding these folks, stop this there are a few bad apples crap. This is the stuff that's inflicted on black people on a consistent basis by these cops. And this is also why the body camera footage is also important for every law enforcement officer.
Roland, I look at these type of videos on a daily basis, and it's still so infuriating. It reminds me of a case I had with a young man named Joshua Harvey, who was connected by the police in a similar situation, tased 27 times, and eventually killed. This is preposterous. all of these officers should have been immediately arrested. The guy who kicked him and all the other officers that allowed it. I do want to give kudos to the chief because according to the story, they actually did this internal investigation themselves and called this type of BS out. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The look on this brother's face when he was kicked, his teeth, I don't know if his teeth was knocked out. I'm just pissed off. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't seen the video yet. It's infuriating, and like I said, it reminds me of my case with Joshua Harvey right now, who was killed after being tased 27 times unnecessarily. This has to stop, and this has to be swift criminality. The thing about it, they said they need to fire these officers. Hopefully they have a police contract that they can do that, because in many cases, these unions have very strong contracts, and when you fire an officer, they can get their job back through arbitration. So just as Monique was talking about getting involved with the school board, we need to get involved with these police union contracts. That is unbelievable. I hope this brother has an attorney. If they do not, I would love to participate in this deal on a pro bono standpoint because it's so blatant and so wrong.
Monique, it's amazing to me how many times we have had to do stories like this where officers have been involved kicking and stomping folks in the head, and I mean and I remember a story out of Delaware where a cop literally just reared back and kicked a brother in the head that was going to his knees. And you know what? The jury found him not guilty. This is the kind of stuff that we have to contend with constantly.
Yeah. And he's already been restrained. He is on the ground at the point that he was kicked. He was assaulted and battered in response to him using his mouth, because what is expected of us in the face of law enforcement is that we bend and we bow and we kowtow and we yes massa to whatever it is they're doing, rightful or wrongful, and that we do not speak. It is not against the law for us to speak back. It's not against the law, frankly, for us to cuss the officers out. They're the ones who are supposed to be trained in restraint, and you do not get to use physical force in response to a verbal assault, even if you feel like you're assaulted. You're the one who's supposed to be the officer. So they should be fired, certainly, but they absolutely should be charged. And this is just like the story from a few days ago, I guess when we had Senator Bradford on the show Monday a week ago, when he talked about the duty to intervene laws that are being passed in up to 42 states now. In the absence of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, these states are acting. And what those officers did by allowing him to kick him and them not intervening, it would not just be his legal jeopardy, criminal legal jeopardy, it would be theirs. So we need every person, unfortunately, to see this. I recoiled every time I looked at it, and I've seen a little bit of everything, and it never gets to the point where I'm jaded, where when I look at it, it doesn't bring tears to my eyes. But we need that legislation. In the absence of this Senate doing what they're supposed to do on the George Floyd Act, we need that legislation everywhere, so we are sure that they will be held accountable.
Well, I'll tell you, Robert, this is the video that I was talking about in Delaware. Monique's point about what happens here in terms of you should not be using physical force after you stop someone. Here's a brother right here in this video. See, he's going down to the ground. Watch this. He's literally kicked in his head. That went to trial, and that officer, a jury, found him not guilty in 2015.
And Roland, the worst part is, where I'm at here in the office at the Rainbow Post Coalition headquarters, getting ready for our conference tomorrow. Less than 50 feet away, there was a video a couple months ago of a woman who was handcuffed and officers kicking her in the head. That's how officers act when they know they're on video, when they know they have a body cam on, or that there's the dash cam video. So imagine the countless numbers of people who are experiences that aren't on film. They do not have that non-biased witness, or where the video does exist and suddenly has been suppressed or has not been released by the police departments. This is why that federal legislation is so important. This is why having an empowered Department of Justice to handle civil rights issues is important. This is why we cannot simply say that it can't be done. We got to keep fighting like hell for it, because our people are being beaten, shot, and killed on a daily basis. And we're not going to take no for an answer again. I think it'll be hell to pay at the ballot box in 2022 and 2024 if they can't get it done.
Well, again, we're not going to ignore these stories. They absolutely matter, and it's certainly important. Because again, bottom line is this, folks, what we're dealing with is pure craziness that happens in this country. And people keep saying, a few bad apples is amazing how many times this actually happens. And so we cannot ignore it. All right, folks, we did lose one of our elders who now transitions to an ancestor. Timio Black Jr. out of Chicago died today at the age of 102. He was one of our most significant historians. Those folks, of course, in Chicago know his story well in terms of being a history maker himself. He was a civil rights activist as well. He was a griot of the Chicago community. Again, he passed away today. He had been in hospice care for the last few days, and he was taught, of course, in Chicago public schools. He was a professor with the City Colleges of Chicago, and also involved with the independent Black political movement there in Chicago. He was married to Zenobia Johnson Black for 40 years, worked with the DeSable Museum, you name it, anything dealing with history and Black history there in Chicago. He was at the forefront. Reverend Jackson said Tim embraced us as his younger brothers and sisters. We all have a profound admiration for Tim Black. He is an icon of rare vintage. He also released a book called Sacred Ground, The Chicago Streets of Timio Black. When I ran a Chicago Defender, our paths crossed. We did butt heads a couple of times when we were trying to move the Chicago Defender. He really felt the importance of the building that we were located in. And I remember I said, Tim, I feel you. It'd be great if we could save the building, but the building is, I said, fixing the building is worth more than the entire company. Which one are we going to do, Tim? Save the paper, save the building? We moved. But we did have good interactions covering him and highlighting the work that he did. And again, Timio Black passed away today in Chicago at the age of 102. Robert, we appreciate it. DeMario, appreciate it. Call Marcus Dupree. Monique, we appreciate it. Never question me on technology again. Folks, thanks a bunch. I will, again, y'all, please support what we do. Download the Black Star app, all the platforms. Also, please go iPhone, Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Xbox, Samsung. Support us with our Bring the Funk fan club, Cash App, $RM Unfiltered, Venmo, RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. PayPal's RMartinUnfiltered as well. And a big shout out to those who are supporting us. We thank Amazon, we thank Nissan, we thank Buick as well for their partnership and their advertising. Thank you so much. It's important to support Black-owned media. And so I say those who support Black-owned media, we support it as well. Those who don't support Black-owned media, stop giving them your dollars. Dr. King said on April 3rd, 1968, he says economic reciprocity. He said we must redistribute the pain. Those who support us, we should support them as well. Don't let somebody keep getting your money when there's no return on your investment. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Also, go Astros. Holla!
time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?